This conference will now be recorded.
There we go, Sharky. Exactly. So the longer the consolidation, the bigger the move that we're going to expect for it. So when we look over here and all day long we see a consolidation, what that tells us is that more than likely when that thing is going to release, we're going to see that thing really go up. So it's going, like I said, it's still got the volume that's sitting there at that 14. It's holding this print line 48,000 shares. That happened at 8:32. So I do like what we're seeing coming on into there. So it's really just going to be a matter of time. Let's see that volume start to come back in because it's got to go higher than 14. 14 is just not enough for this, for how much that we've seen going into this. So hold on one second, guys. All right. All right. So next thing on our list, and as I was talking, it looks like we got a trigger that just came back into it. AMD. Now we talked about our price target being 30. I mean, this thing's just incredible. It is so hot right now. Based off what we've seen, I don't think it's going to stop, to be completely honest, at that 30 level. I think we're going to see a lot more coming out of this thing. But overall, once again, we're kind of in that a little bit of a limbo because it really was supposed to pull back, and it just did not care about that whatsoever. It pulled back maybe what? Maybe 10 cents from what happened in the aftermarket, and then it's just continuing back up. So this thing is pretty much letting go. It's one of the exceptions. Okay, 90% of the time we're going to see that pullback come back in, but when something's this hot, I mean, the classification of a stock changes, and we get a ridiculous move, and this is exactly what's happening. Has it had the proper pullback yet? Not even close. Okay, and when I say not even close, I mean it just does not care. Every single level, it's just continuing back up. So you know what? At the end of the day, we're going to have stocks of that. Not every stock is always going to work out. There's no such thing as 100%. But I would be a little bit careful with this movement towards the upside this morning. We're going to see once the market opens if we're going to continue with the same personality from yesterday. We're going to end up seeing this thing come back down. If we look over here on the actual volume itself, as this thing was moving back up, it really was not very high compared to what AMD really, it's around the 30,000s. I can't really see it too well because of those prints right there. But it wasn't as high as you would have expected it. But at the same time, it wasn't even 8 o'clock in the morning. We can see then we went over to 8 o'clock and we started getting 100,000 shares being traded in the pre-market. So we got 5.8 million shares already going right now. This is going to be a huge volume day. Expect a bigger range. And overall, guys, there's a ton of buying. So my expectations of this, without really going off of anything that's shown, because I haven't seen a great show of hand that came out there yet. There's some great buying, some great prints, like for instance, 240, 245. There's great buying, but it's always followed by that mix, okay? Especially when it's trading 5.8 million shares in the pre-market, that we're going to be expecting a mix. But really what I want to see is like a few, not a few, a little bit over, maybe let's say maybe 15 seconds, some huge buying coming in, not followed by any type of selling. So if we do get up to that 30 level, I'm going to be expecting to see some huge buying coming back in there. And then we'll see if maybe it's going to, take a break. It's going to have to take a break. Stocks don't just go straight back up. So keep that in mind as we're going. There's going to be some type of pullback at some point. It's just going to be a matter of how far up it goes before that ends up happening. But you know what? Our price target being 30, we know overall that's where we're looking for it to go. So you know what? We're going to take it from there. And as we come up to this 29.50, we should definitely get a little bit more information. That was almost a 200K push, but not high. And that's really kind of what it was. I mean, it definitely triggered back up towards those prints that we saw coming in from before. I saw that happening as I was looking, as I started talking, and I was talking about CRON. But you know what? It's sitting there. That double top just doesn't really look like it's going to be able to hold it. We'll see what at 29.50 what it's going to show us here. Next one, TLRY. So if we have Cron, we have TLRY. I mean, it's that simple because this thing kind of follows in the same footsteps. Or to be honest, a Cron follows in this footstep. Speaking of Cron, you want to see what a show of hand looks like, guys? That's a show of hand. Okay, it's very, very, very clear about what is going to happen to the stock Cron today. So this right here, this is what we call this is what we want to see in the pre-market. It's a great thing because we talked about after Labor Day, it's starting to get pre-markets back, starting to get those show of hands back, and it has not failed whatsoever throughout. So expect Cron to fall back from 1350 before making a very big move back up to satisfy the prints at 1350 long and at 14 long. Okay, so those two spots right there are going to be very, very important. And then, at the end of the day, they're going to go, and it's going to end up going above that. Now, I don't know if there's going to be another news thing that comes out that delays it like we saw. I hope not. I wouldn't expect it to happen. But you know what? these stocks can get very volatile. So back to TLRY. TLRY really hasn't shown much, but at the end of the day, I mean, it just keeps going higher and higher. It closed at $77. It went to 86. I mean, you're talking about a $9 move overnight. This thing is just unbelievable with the moves that it's coming in. So remember, there's going to be a real big range on this. Cron is going to be more than likely an easier stock to trade just because the spread is definitely a lot thinner than TLRY is going to be. The orders are a lot thicker than TLRY, so TLRY can do some really nasty things to you. So keep that in mind when you're looking for which one to trade. I personally like it better just because the range is going to be enormous compared to what we see in Cron, unless Cron really starts going. And then CGC, still looking at that one from yesterday. Okay, coming in at that 55 level. I mean, this thing just continued to push. I mean, overnight was great for a lot of stocks. AMD, it just keeps going. Unbelievable. It's hard to pay attention to what I'm trying to talk about when this thing is just running. But coming back over to CGC, so we haven't really got anything too great in it yet. You know, you can see from, earlier this morning, nothing's too special. But we know that this thing can move. I mean, it's just, since holding that 55, coming up over $1.20. So we're going to watch this one as we come in. It just needs a better show of hands. So at the moment, it's at the bottom of my list until we see something else come in. CEO of Con came out and basically said, "Kiss my ass, Citron." Well, Citron, I think, what was their price target? $3, something ridiculous like that. So far they are $3.50. Yeah, so they were not correct overall. So I hope this thing flies to 50, to be completely honest with you. So we'll watch that. Other than that, guys, I didn't see anything else out there that I really have to pay too much attention to. I know Facebook took a little bit of a hit overnight, which we knew has to go underneath that 170. It's coming up a little bit. But if you look at the volume that it's coming up on, this entire move right here is just completely hollow. So I don't believe in that thing whatsoever. Twitter, we knew we had some really big selling at 35 and also at 34. So keep in mind on those ones as well. Twitter right now is absolute garbage. I would not be focusing on this the start of the morning. And other than that, like I said, let's go over the scanners. Let's see if anything new is out there. But I didn't really see too much else that I had really had much interest in. So we have PRQR. Nice move to the upside, but the volume's just disgusting. And it's also a 5-cent spread, so definitely not going to be paying attention to that. Cron, we already know about. I don't think I need to, we really need to go over much more than, from what the show of hand that we just had. IGC, 659, absolutely nothing. No real trading going on there. MNKD, another one where it's just not really a great trade. Everything else, I mean, there's some stuff that has some volume in it, but it's just not as good as what we already have on our list. WATT, not really doing too much trading. AMD, already 6.2 million shares. It's not even, it's 10 after 9, and it's also already trading that much. And then on our loser side, not much losing overnight. This is a 5-cent spread, so I don't really care about it. JD, I mean, you might want to take a look at it, but it's just not doing anything in the pre-market. It's kind of stuck in that consolidation. So I'm going to focus on the 4 that we spoke about. There's just way better show of hand. First of all, I'm going to focus on Cron because it doesn't get much better than that show of hand. So I will be looking for Cron to the long side to satisfy the prints at 13.50 and 14. Bidu invested in NIO, which is a huge IPO next week. BIDU, let's see. There's nothing I can really see. I mean, it's just not trading. It's traded 7,000, almost 8,000 shares this morning, so not really showing too much whatsoever. It did have 127,000 shares though come in at 222.18 before it took that hit. So I'm gonna have to assume that more than likely those were to the short side, but we'll see once the market opens and it gets some actual volume coming into it. All right, guys, so let's get ready for the morning. We got a lot of stuff going on out there. It should definitely be a lot of fun, just like yesterday. So any clue where Microsoft is going? That would be a better question for probably for Nitesh. I don't really look at it too much, but I don't know. I mean, I would assume higher. I mean, it's definitely been getting some really good buying coming in as it's been coming up over that 100 level. So I don't really watch Microsoft too often. All right, guys. So I will talk to remember Traders Exchange today. Okay. Remember, whenever we have a 3-day weekend, we always push it back to Wednesday. Okay. That will be at 12:30. Let's make sure your questions and topics are in early. TE at aheadofthecharts.com. All right, guys. So let's get ready for the morning and happy trading.